All right, our third game would be this Monday night game. It is the Colts against Carolina, another unbeaten team here to talk about. Boy, we're in November, and so many NFL teams unbeaten. It's kind of unprecedented here. And the Colts, well, they built this team with offense in mind, really loaded up in the offseason, but the offense has been a huge disappointment. Quarterback Andrew Luck hasn't been healthy, 11 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. The defense has been as bad as many of us thought. So there's not a lot to like with this team other than the fact that they may win the division with a 3-4 record because it's so bad. But the Colts on a 2-6 spread run. Harvard, they lost 2 in a row. It's just tough to find ways to try and back this very underachieving team.
Well, let's see. If Jacksonville wins and the Colts lose, does that make Jacksonville
Super Bowl favorite?
I mean, they would have home field advantage or something, get a bye in the playoffs. I mean, come on. Indy's got to come through eventually. Here's the question. They were down 27-0 against the Saints.
At home.
At home.
Yeah.
All right. That was at halftime. Now, here you got Andrew Luck and all the guys going into the locker room at halftime, and the boos come out. Well, so do you get excited that they were down 27-0, and that should be your concern, like how did they? Or do you say, hey, maybe that woke somebody up and they outscored them in the second half 21-0 with a little comeback? Well, I think that the veteran leadership of Frank Gore and some of those guys, they actually have the oldest average age of 27 years old. I think that they like playing for Pagano. I think that there's a lot of internal distractions and everything, but I got to give a little bit to Andrew Luck before I completely write him off. They're not going to bench him. They're not going to sit there and fire him. They're going to get rid of some other people, but I just think that there's something about coming back after him hearing those boo birds. He'd been injured, so maybe he needed the first half to get back on track. I didn't watch the game last week, so I don't know how they got down 27-0 to New Orleans on the road anyway. With New Orleans being on the road, I mean. Panthers defense, what are you going to say? They do it all. Cam, I think he's a stronger runner than he is a passer. And I mean, he's a very good passer, but man, can this guy run for some first downs and really kill you that way. But they're laying 7. I don't think that they set up their team to be a scoring machine. And when you start to lay 7, that's a lot of points. I don't care who you are and what kind of defense. I'm going to look at taking Indianapolis and backing them with the points this week.
All right, well, this Carolina team is undefeated, and it's kind of a tribute to how good this team is in that they come off what they admitted was a bad game. We didn't play our best brand of football tonight, Cam Newton said, and that was after a 27-16 win over the Eagles Sunday. They had almost 400 yards despite going 2 of 9 on third down, and Newton having his first real bad game of the year, 3 picks. So for the season, this guy has 9 touchdowns and 7 interceptions on a 6-0 team. Rather remarkable. It shows you
Sounds
how
like Manning.
yeah, exactly. Shows you how good the coaching staff is and this defense is, which is just exceptional against the run and the pass. So, Zach, there's really nothing new with this type of team. We've seen it the last couple of years. Run-oriented offense, great defense. They win and they cover games.
Yeah, you know what? Last week I had said Carolina on air, but when I finalized the pick, I changed it to Philadelphia. That was my mistake. I do that from time to time. But when I look back at what I said about Carolina at the end of September, I wrote a blog on Carolina being underrated all of October, ATS. And it came to life, actually, because they won outright against Seattle, and then the last week against Philadelphia. Of course, they were only 3-point favorite, which looked like a decent line, but really wasn't. Oddsmakers still were leery of the Carolina Panthers. They're undefeated. They've won 10 games in a row dating back to last year. But now it's the first time that you see the oddsmakers adjust, and this is the time. And these value primetime games, you see it from time and time again. They just played Sunday Night Football. Now they play on Monday Night Football. They're undefeated. Yada, yada, yada. 10-game winning streak. Colts look absolutely horrible. What's going to happen? The value's on Indianapolis. Andrew Luck, that team, even though they made the playoffs, they went to the AFC Championship last year. They have those dud games. Thinking back to last year, they had a couple of them. The year before that, they got blown out by the Rams at home. So they do that. It doesn't matter if you lose a game the way it happens. A loss is a loss, and I think they've shown in the past that they can bounce back in those type of situations. And Carolina, like Hollis said, is one of those teams that plays a certain style. They don't have that brand of football that goes for blowouts. And I still think that secondary has been untested with games against the Seahawks. Last week against Sam Bradford, who's been horrible. Jameis Winston. They played the Saints with backup Luke McCown. And one other game, Blake Bortles and Jacksonville Jaguars. So they played quarterbacks that, if you rank them in the league, probably 26 through 32, and they're 6 wins. So they've been untested. And even though Andrew Luck has had his woes, I think this is a good game for him to come out. They don't know much about each other in a non-conference game, so the Colts can come out with a game plan. Their defense is never going to be good; it never has been the last 3 or 4 years. But they know how to win with their offense. So I think Andrew Luck responds in prime time, and 7 points is just too much.
All right, so you're back on the Pagano bandwagon?
No, not this is a value play as we had with Baltimore.
I just want to see if he lines them all up with the center and the kicker and everybody else on the sidelines and hikes it to him.
No, he burned that play a couple of weeks ago. Well, I'll take a look at the total here because the Colts are on a very unusual 10-3-1 run under the total. That's unusual for a team that is predicated on offense, and it's because the odds makers have made the totals a little bit too high this year and last year for them, and the offense has taken a step back this year because of the injuries. But here's a game where they're playing on natural grass. You know, we see teams that are built for indoors and speed, like the old Rams teams 10, 15 years ago, and currently the Saints and the Colts, they play on natural grass. They can get slowed down. And here they are playing on natural grass in Carolina. When Carolina plays on grass, they're 21-10-1 under the total. Fantastic defense. I can see ball control again on Carolina's part against this soft Indy defensive front. Eats up the clock. Maybe you have to settle for some field goals, but it's kind of a high total. I will look at this one. Panthers, Colts under the total. All right, let's tell you what we have going on for the weekend. Harvard, you're 15-3 with these high-end 10-star plays, and you generally package 2 of them together for the weekend.
Well, I generally do. We're 15-3. I got my 3 for the money, which includes 2 plays on Saturday for the colleges and my 10-star high roller game of the year. And you know what? Maybe y'all waited until through the spring and the summer, and here it is. At least almost 50% through the, what are we, into week 8? So we're, winding down instead of winding up on the football season. So don't get far behind. Come after these 10-star plays. A couple weeks ago, I had a big blowout with my double systems play. Well, this week, triple systems play in a system that's 100%. It's never lost. I got the numbers, stats, texts. It's a positional matchup, and it's my number 1 situation game of the season, and it's in the colleges. So click on that thing Friday and Saturday and get on it and just unload.
All right, Zach, 28-14 in college football, 18-11 in the NFL. You're part of the Handicapper 3-pack on the website, and you contributed Colorado over the weekend. Another winner. How can folks get that?
Yeah, JimFights.com. I don't have my plays up early in the week like some handicappers do. I like to wait. I usually have some type of a board in mind by Thursday night, and then I dwindle it down to the top plays that I see in the board, usually 4 or 5 playing in college football, and 3 to 4 in the NFL, probably 3 until I see better improvement from quarterback play. But JimFights.com. I'm looking to maintain my 60% or higher in both sports. Look for those packages on Friday.
All right, and Jim Feist has another college conference game of the year. Saturday is off the AAC game of the year with the Houston Cougars, 59-10 rout. He's also off a 5-2 NFL weekend. You can get Jim's plays at jimfeist.com or 1-855-846-7426. All right, that'll do it for the NFL version of ProLine. Good luck with the games, everyone, and we'll see you next week.